Scene script. Picture this. You get into your car, ready to start your day, and nothing. The car won't start. The culprit? A dead battery. Imagine the inconvenience, the annoyance, the sheer frustration. You're all set for the day, but your vehicle has other plans. This scenario is not as rare as you might think. Every day, countless drivers around the world face the dreaded dead battery problem. Car battery failure is a common issue, one that can strike at the most inconvenient times. It's the silent troublemaker that can disrupt your routine without a moment's notice. It might be in the middle of a busy morning when you're rushing to work, or late at night when you're eager to get home. The reasons for a car battery dying can be numerous. Age is a significant factor. Like every other component in your vehicle, batteries have a lifespan. Typically, a car battery can last between 3 to 5 years, but it's not a hard and fast rule. Some batteries may give up before reaching their third birthday, while others might surprise you by running smoothly for over 5 years. Weather conditions can also play a significant role in your battery's health. Extreme cold or hot weather can cause your battery to work harder, draining it faster. This is why you might notice your car struggling to start on a particularly frosty morning or a scorching summer day. Electrical issues are another common reason. Leaving your lights on overnight or a faulty charging system can drain your battery faster than you'd expect. The good news is, a dead car battery is not the end of the world. In fact, it's a problem that you can solve with a bit of knowledge and some elbow grease. And while it might seem daunting, don't worry. Changing a car battery isn't as complicated as it sounds. But fear not, changing a car battery isn't as daunting as it sounds. Here's a step-by-step guide to help you through it. Before diving into the process, it's important to gather the necessary tools and take safety measures. Ensuring we have the right equipment at hand will not only make the task smoother, but also safer. So, what are the tools you'll need? First and foremost, a wrench or a set of wrenches. You'll be using this handy tool to loosen and remove the battery cables. Secondly, a pair of sturdy gloves. Remember, safety first. Gloves will protect your hands from any potential acid leaks or corrosion on the battery. Now let's talk about safety precautions. The first step is to make sure your car is turned off. This may seem obvious, but it's a fundamental step that is often overlooked. You don't want any electrical current flowing while you're working. Next, pop the hood and locate the battery. Be mindful not to touch any metal parts of the car with your tools while working near the battery. Accidental contact could lead to sparks, which can be dangerous. Before you begin, it's also crucial to check your vehicle's manual. Every car is different. The manual will provide specific instructions for your car model. It may contain important information about the battery location, the type of battery it needs, and how to safely replace it. If your car's manual isn't readily available, a quick online search can usually provide a digital copy. Don't skip this step. It could save you from unnecessary confusion or even potential damage to your vehicle. Finally, have a safe place to keep the old battery once it's removed. Remember, car batteries contain harmful chemicals that need to be disposed of properly. You can't just toss it in the trash. Many auto parts stores will recycle old batteries for free, so plan to take it there when you're done. With everything in place, it's time to get started. Remember, patience and preparation are key. You've got this. Now let's get down to business. The first step is to remove the old battery. To do this, you'll need to disconnect the battery, starting with the negative terminal. Why the negative first, you ask? Well, it's to prevent any accidental short-circuiting. If you disconnect the positive terminal first, and your wrench happens to touch any part of the car's body, it could lead to a short circuit. And we definitely don't want that, so go ahead and locate the negative terminal. It's typically marked with a minus sign. Using a wrench, loosen the bolt on the negative terminal. Once it's loose enough, you can remove the terminal connector from the battery post. Be sure to put it aside where it won't accidentally touch the battery again. Now repeat the same process with the positive terminal. It's usually marked with a plus sign. Loosen the bolt and detach the terminal connector. Again, place it somewhere safe where it can't accidentally come into contact with the battery. With both terminals disconnected, it's time to loosen the battery clamp. This clamp is what keeps the battery securely in place, so it may require a bit more muscle to loosen it. But remember, be gentle. You don't want to damage anything. Next, we're going to carefully remove the battery. Remember, batteries can be quite heavy, so you might want to use both hands for this task. Also, be mindful of any corrosion or dirt around the battery. You don't want to get that stuff on your clothes or skin. Once you have a firm grip, lift the battery straight up and out of the car. Be careful not to tip it, as some batteries can leak acid if they're not kept upright, and there you have it. You've successfully removed the old car battery. It's not as intimidating as it may seem, right? You're already halfway through the process and doing an excellent job so far. And voila, the old battery is successfully removed. Now we're ready to prep and install the new battery. But we'll get to that in the next segment. Stay tuned. With the old battery out of the way, it's time to prep the new battery. Now that we've cleared the space, we can focus on giving the new battery a clean and secure home. Prepping the new battery involves 2 key steps: cleaning the battery tray and connectors, and placing the new battery in the tray. The battery tray is the new battery's bed, so let's make sure it's clean and cozy. To clean the battery tray, you'll need a brush and a baking soda solution. Baking soda is a fantastic natural cleaner that neutralizes acid, which can be handy if there's any residue from the old battery. Mix a few tablespoons of baking soda with enough water to create a paste, then use a brush to scrub the tray thoroughly. Rinse it with clean water and dry it well to ensure there's no moisture that could cause corrosion. Next up are the cable connectors. These are the battery's lifelines, connecting it to the rest of the car. Use the same baking soda solution and brush to scrub the insides of the connectors. Make sure to rinse and dry them thoroughly too. Once everything is clean and dry, it's time to place the new battery in the tray. The battery should fit securely in the tray with no room to move. This is important to prevent the battery from jostling around while you drive, which can damage it and reduce its lifespan. Remember, the battery's position matters. There's a positive terminal and a negative terminal. Make sure the positive terminal on the battery aligns with the positive connector on the car, and the same for the negative. Mixing these up could lead to a whole host of electrical problems. So let's recap. We've cleaned the battery tray and connectors, and we've placed the new battery in the tray, making sure it fits securely and aligns correctly. With the new battery in place, you're halfway through the process. The next step is installing the new battery, where we'll connect it to the car's electrical system. But that's a story for the next scene. Now that everything's clean and the new battery is in place, it's time to install it. Once you've prepped your new battery and ensured the battery compartment is clean and dry, the installation process can begin. This is usually a straightforward process, but it's essential to follow the right steps to ensure optimal battery performance and longevity. Start by carefully placing the new battery into its compartment. Make sure it's seated correctly and snugly, with the positive and negative terminals in the same position as the old battery. Now let's reconnect the battery, starting with the positive terminal. Take your positive battery cable, that's usually the red one, and attach it to the positive terminal of the battery. The positive terminal is typically marked with a plus sign or the letter P. Ensure the cable is properly attached and sits firmly on the terminal. Once the positive terminal is securely connected, it's time to attach the negative cable. This one's usually black and connects to the negative terminal, commonly marked with a minus sign or the letter N. Just like with the positive cable, make sure the connection is firm and secure. The next step is tightening the battery clamp. This clamp holds the battery securely in its compartment, ensuring it doesn't move around while you're driving. You'll need a wrench or a similar tool for this. Tighten the clamp just enough to hold the battery firmly in place. Remember, over-tightening can damage the battery, so apply just the right amount of pressure. With the cables attached and the battery firmly clamped down, you're almost done. It's a good idea to give everything a final check, ensuring all connections are secure and the battery is sitting correctly in its compartment. Congratulations, you've successfully installed your new car battery. But don't rush off just yet. The next step is to perform a post-installation check to make sure everything is running as it should be. Stay tuned for our next segment to learn how to do this. The job isn't done just yet. It's important to do a post-installation check. After installing the new battery, it's crucial to ensure everything is in order. Think of it as the final step to cross the finish line. You wouldn't want to miss out on any detail, would you? First and foremost, check if the battery is secure in its compartment. A loose battery can lead to a multitude of issues, from simple rattling noises to more serious problems like short circuits. Give it a gentle push. It should remain steady. If it jiggles around, you might need to tighten the clamps or adjust the battery's position. Next, let's check if the car starts properly. Turn on the ignition and listen for the engine's sweet purring sound. If the car starts without hesitation, that's a good sign. But don't rush off just yet. Look at the dashboard and check if any warning lights are on. The battery light in particular should go off after the car starts. If it stays on, it could mean there's a problem with the charging system. You might need to check the alternator or the wiring. Don't forget to check the battery's voltage as well. It should read around 12.6 volts when the car is off, and between 13.7 and 14.7 volts when the car is running. If the readings are off, there might be a problem with the battery or the charging system. Lastly, check if all the electrical components of the car are working properly. Turn on the headlights, the radio, the air conditioning, and so on. If everything works fine, you can breathe a sigh of relief. But what if there are issues? Don't panic. It's possible that you might need to adjust the connections, or there could be a problem with the new battery itself. In any case, if you're unsure, it's always best to consult a professional. And there you have it, a new battery installed and your car is back in action. Remember, a little vigilance goes a long way in ensuring your car's longevity. So keep an eye out and stay safe on the road. Let's quickly revisit the key steps in changing a car battery. The process may seem daunting, but with a little patience and attention to detail, you'll find it's quite doable. First off, you'll need to prepare for the task. Gather all your tools, including a wrench, a pair of gloves, and safety goggles. You'll also need a new battery, of course. Remember, safety should always come first, so get your protective gear on before you start. Next, you'll remove the old battery. Start by disconnecting the negative terminal, followed by the positive. This order is crucial to avoid any short circuits. Once the terminals are disconnected, you can remove the battery hold-down clamp and carefully lift the old battery out of the car. Now you're ready to prep the new battery. Clean the battery tray and cable connectors using a wire brush and baking soda solution. This step ensures a good connection and prolongs the life of the new battery. After cleaning, place the new battery in the tray and secure it with the hold-down clamp. Installation of the new battery comes next. Connect the positive terminal first, followed by the negative. Again, the order is important to prevent sparking. Tighten the terminal nuts, but be careful not to overdo it as you might damage the battery posts. Finally, you'll perform a post-installation check. Start your car and check the battery voltage using a voltmeter. A healthy battery should read around 12.6 volts when the engine is off, and between 13.7 and 14.7 volts while the engine is running. Remember, with the right tools and steps, changing a car battery can be a straightforward task. So the next time you find yourself with a dying battery, don't panic. Just take a deep breath, gather your tools, and follow these steps. You'll be back on the road in no time. So you see, changing a car battery isn't a task reserved only for mechanics. It's a skill that can be picked up by anyone who's willing to take a few minutes to learn. It's not just about being self-reliant, but also about understanding your vehicle better. The more you know about your car, the more confident you can be when you're behind the wheel. This is a task that doesn't require a trip to the garage, and it's something you can do in your driveway or garage at home. Knowing how to change a car battery can save you a significant amount of time and money. You won't need to wait for a tow truck or a mechanic to help you out, and you won't have to pay for their services. Instead, you can take matters into your own hands, solve the problem on your own, and get back on the road faster. It's also a valuable skill that can come in handy in emergency situations. If you're stranded on the side of the road with a dead battery, you won't be helpless. You'll know what to do, and you'll be able to take action. Remember that every car is different, and the exact steps can vary depending on your vehicle's make and model. But the general principles remain the same. Disconnect the old battery, remove it, then clean the battery tray and cable connectors. Install the new battery, reconnect it, and then check to make sure everything is working properly. And of course, safety should always be your top priority. Always wear protective gear, and be careful to avoid any sparks or flames when working with a car battery. So keep these steps in mind, and practice them a few times. With a bit of patience and practice, you'll be able to change a car battery with confidence. So the next time your car won't start, don't panic. You've got the knowledge and skills to handle it.